So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of the Chill Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the 12th album by Eminem. And if you don't know Eminem, he rose to fame in the late 90s, probably one of the best rappers of all time. And I really remember when he came out in the 90s. The first time that I heard of him was with My Name Is. I bought that album and I bought the other two records that he put after. The Marshall Mathers LP to me is just an amazing album, one of the best hip hop albums that I've enjoyed. And it's been a while. I know that his last albums, I've liked some singles here and there, but I don't know. To me, I wanted that old Slim Shady back. And this album is called The Death of Slim Shady, Coup De Grace. So it is, as Eminem said on the internet, it is a concept album. So it's meant to be listened from the first track until the last track. It's 19 tracks, 1 hour and 4 minutes. But it's 19 tracks, but you have a few interludes here and there. And it's, again, he works with producers like obviously Dr. Dre, that's his protege. Dr. Dre found Eminem in the 90s. And this is a straight up hip hop album. Musically, this sounds straight out of the 90s. And I think it's good that Eminem is back because I gotta say it, most of the rappers nowadays suck. They're just terrible. I don't know, they try too hard, but I don't know. I think hip hop needs Eminem, because I think it's been lacking. I think besides maybe Kendrick Lamar, there's no other good rappers out right now. It's been very vanilla. So it's good to have him back. And on this record, the concept of this record is basically Marshall Mathers, Eminem, battling his alter ego, Slim Shady. So it's interesting, because it's Slim Shady is part of it's his other personality. So most of the tracks is he's trying to cancel himself, which I think it's brilliant. And at 51 years old, it's amazing that Eminem can still rap with the velocity that he can do it. And I don't know anything about rapping fast, but my God, is he good with it? He seems, when he's spitting rhymes, it seems like it's so easy for him and flawless that it just comes out of him. So, this record, I think it's an album that really, obviously there's controversial, because that's what he does. The intro track, Renaissance, it's he's saying it's a great intro. Some haters saying something about Kendrick Lamar, about other rappers, but instead of him hating, he's saying that it doesn't matter what some rappers put out there, you're gonna say it sucks. He even throws shades at himself, and he says that even 36 Chambers, like a Wu-Tang Clan record, would be crapped on by today. So it's a great way to start. And then he goes into a track called Habits, and on Habits, if you think he's gonna tone it down, no, he does not. He goes about PC culture. He pokes fun of Bruce Jenner. He is talking about all habits die hard. So it's him also coping with his own opiate crisis that Eminem had. So it's a very interesting track, and you can hear how he's battling himself. The album keeps going, every track goes into the other one, so because it's a concept record. But I think when it really gets interesting is with when you go in a track like Evil, where he's saying that he's so evil, it doesn't matter what you say, he's the most evil person. And then it goes into a skit called All You Got, and it's Slim Shady telling Eminem you are nothing without me, I made you. So it's he's struggling with his inner demon. And then it goes into Lucifer, and Lucifer is all about how he's saying that he's the devil, and like his followers are like a cult, and Dr. Dre made the Antichrist, which is the track that follows. And Antichrist, oh boy, that song, it's very out there. He pokes fun. There's a line in there where he's saying Jada made like Will Smith like crazy or stuff like that. But the most shade on that song goes to Diddy, Puff Daddy, where he obviously is poking fun and throwing shade of what happened to him recently with that 2016 tape where he's beating his girlfriend. So you know what? He deserves it. So Eminem does great on this track, and he's like saying like, yeah, he's the Antichrist, and he's the worst thing ever. So yeah, it follows that theme of that inner struggle between Marshall and Slim Shady. So the next few tracks, pretty Fuel, Road Rage, pretty like 90s style hip hop, great beats to them. Then you have the track that was the main single, Houdini, and I gotta say, to me, that's the weakest track on the record. When I heard that single, I thought, yeah, it's like on the more commercial side, even though it's throwing shade at like people like Megan Thee Stallion and other like rappers. But when he goes with that abracadabra, I'm gonna reach out and grab you, I don't know, I thought that one was like kind of like the weakest track. And when I heard the record, yeah, it makes sense because it goes to the story, but it is the weakest song on this album. And I think he shows it as a single because he wanted to keep like the real hard hitting ammo for the release. Then there's another skit called Breaking News, where he's like poking fun of like Generation C is gonna cancel this record, they're gonna protest this record. And then it goes into Guilty Conscience 2. So Guilty Conscience, the first one, that's a classic track and one of Eminem's most controversial tracks from his 1999 album. And on that one, I remember he had Dr. Dre rapping with him, and I thought like, oh, it would have been great if Dr. Dre would have returned to rap on this song. But after I listened to this song, no, because this is basically a rap battle between Slim Shady and Marshall. It's like he's battling his own conscience, and he's saying like, oh no, I'm making fun of like little people, I'm making fun of transgender people, and like the conscience is eating away, but Slim Shady's like, I don't care what you say, like I made you. So it's like that battle, which I think it's a pretty interesting track. And to me, that one and Antichrist are the highlights of the record for me. Then it goes into a pure hip hop track called Head Honcho, where he's like, I'm Marshall, I'm running this game, which was a solid track. Then he pulls at your heartstrings with Temporary, which is basically a love letter to his daughter, Haley Jade. And there's some clean singing, like a woman is singing here, and it's a very it's the pretty song on the record. It's all about him saying that, hey, I may be gone, I may die, but I will always be with you. So it's temporary. So yeah, it's a pretty beautiful track. And here, like, Eminem lets you know that, hey, I can also pull at the heartstrings with this track. Then it goes into another like hip hop banger with Bad One. But then the other single that they released, Toby, which features two rappers, Big Sean and Baby Tron, which I don't know who they are, but they kill it on this track. And what I loved about this track is all the pop culture references, and I'm happy because I understand these pop culture references. So thank you. They mentioned Star Wars, they mentioned Leia and Obi-Wan, like they're bringing a new hope. They mentioned Tobey Maguire. Like he said on the track, they say like Tobey Maguire was beat by a spider, but I was beat by a goat, which I thought it was like super great. And they also mentioned Wes Craven. So there, this is all the references that I understand. So thank you. Then it goes into Guess Who's Back, and it's like, hey, you're trying to kill Slim Shady, but you can't. And the last track is Somebody Save Me, which is another more like beautiful track, and it has Jelly Roll like singing because it has samples, song that he has that I think is the same name. And I think he's talking about like saving himself and like he's battling his inner demons. So it's a great album closer. So to me, this album, yeah, as a whole, like as a concept record, it really works because it's basically the whole record is Eminem battling with himself, and he's like canceling himself, which is pretty smart. Just like Limp Bizkit did a few years ago when they named their album Still Sucks. Eminem goes and does this. So yeah, I know you're gonna come at me, so I'm just gonna do it myself. And I hope it's called the death of Slim Shady, but I would call this the birth, because it doesn't feel like a death. It feels like a renaissance. Like Eminem is back. The GOAT is back, bigger than ever. I think this is his best record since his classic albums to me. I think this album delivers lyrically, like it's great. He's rapping like he's 21 years old and he's 51. The production on this record is great. You know, Dr. Dre, all the producers that they have. It's just a great hip hop record. And again, like I think the concept really is work and it's very interesting. And I don't know about you, but I haven't heard of a lot of like hip hop conceptual records. So on this case, I think Eminem threw it out of the park with this release. It's a great hip hop record. Yes, it is offensive. You might get offended, but it's Eminem. Like, you know what he's gonna do. And he's not gonna say, I'm sorry. You know, he's gonna keep doing what he's doing. And maybe that's why he's the GOAT, at least in my opinion. So I wanna know from you, Couchers, what do you think of the death of Slim Shady? Comment, what are your favorite tracks from this record? And let me know, do you think this is a return to form for Eminem? And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to give me a like and do not forget to subscribe. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.